Welcome to Recovery Recreation. I'm your host, Susie Lordy, and I'm also the founder of a 501c3 nonprofit here in Massachusetts called 24 Hour Power Inc. And we do recovery graffiti all over the state of Massachusetts. Now, what happened was people were coming up to us during our events, and they were saying to us, Susie, there's nothing fun going on around here. Now, we know that's not true, but we also knew that we better make it our mission to go find out what's going on, from the Berkshires to Cape Cod, everywhere in between, right? We needed to let people know, hey, listen, there are some fun things that you can do. A lot of them are family-friendly activities. Some of them are just for people looking to seek a healthy, happy lifestyle and recovery. So don't think you can't have fun sober. You just haven't hung out with us yet. Okay, so here we are. It's February, and we're going to say hi to Dan Kelly. Dan is the program director for the Plymouth Recovery Center in Plymouth, Mass. Hey, Dan.
How are you? Thanks for having me on.
And with us joining him today is Domenic Fermano, a fellow Italian.
Yeah.
And Domenic is a peer leader at Plymouth Recovery Center as well. So we're going to get to hear all about their roles and what's going on down there. But first off, I'd like to commend you with the awesome looking digs that you have in your new place.
Oh yeah.
Right in the heart of downtown Plymouth.
Yeah.
I mean, how did you score that, Dan?
Well, so the center, Plymouth Recovery Center, has been in existence for years now, but we were privately funded. We were over on Oberry Street for
Couple of years.
2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
We were renting. We were tenants of South Shore Community Action Council. They're awesome too. But we just rented a hallway. That's all we had for a couple of years. We were across from the courthouse. We're in a weird spot in Plymouth. It was really tough. So when the time came to apply to become funded and to join the family of the peer recovery support centers across the state under BSAS and SAMHSA and DPH, one of the things that they ask for in the application is that you get storefront property, you know, as a necessity, so that your face is right there in you know, wherever that may be in whatever town. Luckily, Plymouth has a really awesome downtown area. So we started looking around for places, and we got wind of this, and we did a lot of renovations, and yeah, we're just really, really fortunate to have landed into the spot that we're at. I mean, you've seen it. It's gorgeous.
It's amazing.
You know,
it's amazing, and it's literally right in downtown. I mean,
yeah.
You look around, and you know, you got San Diego's over here. It's exactly where you'd want to be, and there's the waterfront, just a hop, skip, and a jump down the hill.
You can see the water. You can see the water from this room we're in right now, which is amazing. You know.
But the best part about the location is that we're able to help a heck of a lot more people out here than we were over on Oberry Street, because it was in such an obscure location. It was hard to get to.
Yeah.
Here it's in the meat of where the action is.
Let's get into COVID now, because that's, of course, you know, unfortunately, the elephant in the room for every peer recovery center that, you know, I talk to. So when we're talking about the effects of COVID on your center, Dan, what does that mean to you guys? Like, what's your limits and things of that nature?
Well, I mean, it's affected everything that we do. When you think of what the role of a peer recovery support center is, it's all about interaction. It's all about human connection. You know, it's all about, like, any sort of recovery. Anything is all about face to face and establishing a connection. You know, we opened at the new site here just around a year ago. It was the end of January we moved, and we held an LOC here. We had a level of care. Domenic cooked for it. We had all the other centers over, directors, peers from those centers, and then within a month we were all told to work from home, and that the pandemic had just gotten to the point where it was just no longer safe to be here anymore. So we flipped the entire calendar to virtual. We were utilizing social media. Everyone had to basically take a crash course on Zoom and what is that, and you know.
Oh yeah.
You know, So everything went virtual. We had most of the year was still virtual, and we reopened back in August. And I didn't bring my report with me, but based on the footprints, there's been a couple hundred people through here since August, which is great.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Isn't
we have
that
our
awesome?
in-person.
Well, I know that you guys have so many different groups there, right? I mean, you've got everything from like the basics, you've got the Women's AA, you've got, Narcotics Anonymous, you've got Learn to Cope, which I'm assuming is on Zoom, right?
Yeah, Learn to Cope is still over Zoom.
Okay. You guys have some extra, like this recovery cooking show.
Right.
I mean, one fellow Italian to another, Dom. I'm all about this. And I know this is your baby. So let's turn it right over to you. Like, what's your background? How did this all go down?
My grandmother was right off the boat Italian. That's when I first learned how to cook. I was about 8 years old is when I first started cooking in her kitchen. By the time I was 12, I was working in the restaurant field. By the time I was 16, I managed my first place. I'm a graduate of Johnson & Wales. I ran Fenway Park's luxury suite and catering department. I've had some high-end jobs. With the pandemic, we were trying to think of creative ways to get out to the public. Over Zoom originally. So Dan and I came up with the idea of the Recovery Kitchen to have a cooking class that is under a budget of $50 or less, that's wholesome, hearty, and fun for family, the average family, which is 4 in the United States. And it took off fairly quick. We didn't expect to have the numbers that we got right away.
I was watching the Facebook Live and you were doing an awesome chicken marsala, right?
All right.
But that was without wine.
It's typically with wine, but because it's a recovery type of show, I don't want to do anything with alcohol, even though alcohol does burn off. So with that being said, I creatively, and this is what's fun about culinary, about cooking, creatively, you can do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
You can take a marsala base type of thing and not use the wine itself and just change it into something else. So everything I'm doing is without alcohol, even though it could be alcohol related. So it's all based off of family wholesome meals, non-alcohol related, under a budget, but and like I said, affordable and fun too. I don't want to do, like, I could go into the high end, I can do a glazed duck, I can do that kind of stuff. But
we don't even know where to buy that stuff in the supermarket, Tom. Forget about it.
Well,
we need to find out how to make pizza, and I saw that on your Facebook page.
Right,
and you guys do that on Facebook Live, right? So what days do you do it live?
Tuesday at 12 o'clock is live.
Okay. And where do they go? They go onto the Plymouth Recovery Center Facebook page?
Yep, Plymouth Recovery Center Facebook page. A lot of people say, oh, I don't have Facebook. You don't have to have a Facebook account to access the stream. You just go onto Facebook, and then at the top, you'll have a area where you can search Plymouth Recovery Center. You'll see it by our logo. Anyone can see it, yeah.
That's cool. Okay, Dom, before I'm finished with you, because then I got to come over to Dan and his wild background. You've been in recovery. How long?
All right, so the 24th of January will be 3 years for me.
Woo!
So, yeah.
Okay.
I owe a lot of my early recovery to this place, to Dan, his staff. They were absolutely phenomenal with me. Honestly, if it wasn't for them, and I say this time and time again, I probably wouldn't have made it in early stages of recovery.
Yeah.
Right.
And now I'm at the point where I need this place still, but I can do it strong now, differently.
You've got one of the groups that you lead too. What is that one?
That's at Tuesday night at 6. It's a all type of meeting. We don't focus on AA, NA, GA, any of those. We wanted to open up a meeting for anybody that had any kind of addiction to be able to come to, not feel like embarrassed or anything
Right.
else, or shunned or anything.
Dan, you have a wild background, literally. I mean,
Yes.
I've been a groupie since I was little, and I got to tell you something. There's nothing like rock and roll. And when I saw, my God, when I saw your clips, I'm like, my first question is, how do you stay sober and do music? Because to me, the two always went hand in hand with drugs and alcohol.
So, it's a good question. So, you know, the history I have with music is that I've been playing my whole life,
Mm-hmm.
and I did it all screwed up already in my lifetime,
Yeah.
right? And then I had to put everything down, and then I had to separate myself from the entire scene for years. I didn't even touch an instrument for a couple of years.
Wow.
And then I met someone in the community down on Cape, where I was living at the time, who was a musician, and he was just like a really, he had this aura about him. Like he knew his purpose. He knew he could play. He knew he could do everything he wanted, but he knew that he could put his recovery first. He showed me a lot of stuff. He showed me how, like, you know, one thing with music with me is that it's a job, right? So when I treat it like that, like as a professional, it's not like I'm just, you know, going down to the local bar and strumming four chords, you know, which is a little different. That's a job too, but it's at the level now where it's like you have to take it 100% serious. Like I work just as many hours with music as I do at this center, putting in an honest 80 hours a week for the past probably 4 or 5 years of my life.
You tour with bands too, right?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, I tour with the 2 bands. Yeah. Yep. So there's the New Motif, which is an original project of mine that I started with a friend down the Cape. That band's been doing really well. And then the other one I actually joined after the fact. Some guys that I knew up in the music scene in Boston, some Berkeley guys. I went in and sat in with their band one night, and we put together a couple of these songs, and then they called me the next day and they asked me if I'd like to be their full-time bass player.
One of the things I wanted to ask you about, because I know you're incorporating this now into the center too.
Yep.
What is this, your brain on music? What is this? That's such a cool name to begin with.
Well, do you remember those old commercials, Your Brain on Drugs?
Oh yeah!
With
Oh my
the
God,
egg in
with
the
the
frying
eggs.
pan?
Yeah.
So, you know, just kind of flipping that up on its back and saying Your Brain on Music. I mean, there's so many cool articles. There's so much literature published out there about what music can do as a healing property, right? It's great for mental health. It's great for addiction issues. It's excellent for even just like better cognition and just.
Sure.
So the group was designed by myself when we were just kind of scrambling to think of what else we could be doing during the pandemic. And then when we were able to reopen back in August, it stayed over Zoom. Now it's in person. So now it's here at the center, which is really interesting. They're on Thursdays from 3 to 4 here at the center.
Sweet.
And you don't even have to be a musician either. Like I've met some really cool people through doing this.
Before we go, first of all, I want to thank you for the community work that you've done with 24 Hour Power, working on blankets. I know there's so much more that you guys do in the community and so many partners that you have out there. So I'm telling you, the next show, we're going to come back and talk about that, because I know you're big in outreach and you're big in supporting your brothers and sisters out there that are doing this in Plymouth. You know, Plymouth is what, 60 miles long? It's a big area, man. And to have a peer recovery center right in the downtown is huge. You know, we desperately need it, but we need cool people like you there too. So that makes it twice as good. Yeah. Okay, so now if people want to get a hold of you guys,
people can find us on Facebook, or if they go to our host agency's website, Gandara. Yep, okay. Gandara.
Yep.
There'll be a bunch of different options there as well, and they have a couple different things at the top, and one will say Peer Recovery Support Services.
Okay.
And there'll be a list of the contact information for all 5 of our centers.
Listen, you guys, you've been awesome. It's been great hanging with you, and I can't wait to see you both in person very soon.
Absolutely.
And, but until then, you guys stick around. We'll be right back.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Susie.
Welcome back to Recovery Recreation. I'm still your host, Susie Lordy, And as I said before, and I say every time, don't think you can't have fun sober. You just haven't hung out with us yet. And on that note, we have another great friend of ours, Michael Collins. Michael is not only a career coach, but he's also a recovery coach with One Life at a Time in Braintree, Mass. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
Good, how you doing, Susie?
Good, great to see you. Now, One Life at a Time, man, you guys have so much stuff going on for the month of February. I mean, my head spins. So I want to start by right out of the gate. Let's talk about the new IOP services and tell people what IOP means, because maybe some of our viewers aren't familiar.
The IOP services, it's an intensive outpatient program, day treatment, but they do group therapy. They offer community health worker if you need one, a case manager if you need one, a recovery coaching team if you need one. They do nursing if you need help with nursing. They offer medication management, individual therapy. So if you need a psychiatrist, they get you plugged in with the right psychiatrist. So it's just another form of meeting the client where they're at and providing the services they need.
Yeah, and you guys are going to do this with Bay State. Now, where's Bay State out of?
Bay State Community Services is located, their main office is in Quincy, Massachusetts.
Okay.
It's being offered virtually.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if you have health insurance or not as well. They will take you with insurance. They will take you without insurance. We want to help people make a difference in the communities. Anybody that wants to take part in this can reach me at One Life at a Time, and I will get them the necessary form to fill out, and then they'll follow up with a intake process. That's
amazing. So you don't even necessarily have to have insurance to qualify for this.
Nope.
Wow. Yeah. No. That's a huge benefit to so many of us right now. And COVID's hit us hard. I mean, and people in our industry, Michael, you know, and just the not being able to be present and have access to care has been a real issue. So for you to be able to offer that kind of a menu to people is huge. How long does the approval process take for something like this? Like, let's say somebody calls you tomorrow, Michael.
So if somebody calls me tomorrow, they get the application right back to me right away. It's usually, so I did this yesterday, people are being contacted by Bay State. They have appointments set up for Friday for the intake process. So it's a process to get the process started with Bay State. You know, I try to push this forward because I believe life and death. And I believe
absolutely.
The more help we can provide to people, the better off they're going to be. So I try to rush it right. As soon as I get it, I give it to Bay State.
And you should know, Michael, because now I want to talk about your background, you know, and how you fit into this whole scheme of things and why you're the perfect matchup for this kind of service being offered at One Life.
So my background, I've been in long-term sobriety from drugs and alcoholism, heroin addict and alcoholism. My drug of choice is more of anything when I'm out there. Thank God not today, it's not like that. I struggled with this addiction for 30 plus years of my life, in and out. Could never get clean and sober until I surrendered finally, and I did the work that we all talk about around in the program. To me, what that looked like was join a group, get a sponsor, get active with your home group, go through the steps with your sponsor, but also get a therapist and go to weekly therapy appointments to deal with them underlying issues that cause us to do what we do. I had nothing and nobody when I got here almost 6 years ago, left. Today I can tell you I have a college degree at LADC through UMass Boston. I'm a certified recovery coach. I'm a career coach. But on top of all that, I'm also a single dad to a 7-year-old boy that I get the honor of raising myself every day with very little help from anybody. So that's one of the gifts that I got in sobriety that I wouldn't trade for anything. And I get just emotional talking about this with you because I just know if I didn't get clean and sober, I wouldn't be here for him today.
And that's right there is just, if that was the only miracle going on, that would be enough.
I'd take it.
You're just a walking, talking miracle. I mean, if you want to talk about experience, strength, and hope, it's all wrapped up in you, Michael. I mean, I would want you to be my recovery coach. That's how I look at it. I would trust where you're coming from. And to me, I'm someone in long-term recovery, so I can see through a lot of what's out there, and it's extremely important to just put, you got to walk the walk, and you got to put it together. And I know as someone that has been in both active addiction like myself and in long-term recovery like myself now, it's so important to be able to relate, and that's what it's all about. So when people are coming to you and they're saying, hey, I need help, Michael, and they trust that you're going to line them up with the programs that are going to make sense for them, and it's not going to take them some huge waiting list, that's a very big deal. Especially now during COVID, we really can't wait. So
and my phone's been ringing nonstop off the hook morning, noon, and night when once COVID hit us and everything was locked down. Very sad times for everybody, the whole world. Never mind the recovery community. All the meetings stopped. You couldn't have camaraderie. You can't go into a building with everybody anymore. You can't hug and handshake, and all that's missing. So it's a real struggle for people in early sobriety, which I get that.
And when I think about things that we can do, because I like to stay on the positive side, right? So I think to myself, well, we can give back, and you guys are great at giving back. I mean, you've helped 24-Hour Power give back. You helped us with the masks and everything else, and believe me, I'll be back with some blanket strips for you. So, and we'll be creating beautiful artwork for people experiencing homelessness. It doesn't get any better than that. It's freezing outside, So I understand, though, that you have another partnership with these folks out of Hull named Crave.
So what they're doing is they are volunteering to go around to the sober homes, because I work with probably 20 plus sober homes on a regular basis. And what they're going to do is go around and drop these meals and coffee and power balls and food bowls and all this healthy nutrition to these homes, because during the pandemic I have been working with a food pantry, and I've been feeding homes every 2 weeks since COVID hit. So I've been dropping off food to these homes and organizations for people in recovery. I mean, I know what it's like to have nothing and have nobody left. So, I mean, who deserves it more than these people that are fighting to stay in sobriety today? It's amazing to me with the pandemic that these people seriously want to stay where they're at, and they want help. And I feel like they need probably just as much as help, if not more than anybody.
I think we need to step up way more. So to me, these people are real heroes that are doing this right now. They're really trying so hard. So all of us in the industry need to step up. And you guys clearly are, whether it's with Bay State and the IOP services, now with this connection with Crave, bringing the healthy food. I mean, this stuff is amazing too. And I mean, I can just imagine what a lift it gives them, They got to see that we're out there for them, Michael. We also have to laugh, right? I mean, honest to God, everything's heavy enough right now. Okay. And from what I understand, not only do you have these two big things coming up that are these awesome partnerships, but we got a comedy fundraiser coming up this month.
Yes, so February 26, 2021, we are offering the comedy show. It's a fundraiser, but anybody, from what I understand, anybody in a sober home, living in a sober home, we want them to have this comedy show for free.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's what I was told. It's definitely a fundraiser so we can continue to provide the services we provide.
Sure.
And it's been a lot of work, but I'll tell you, when just sitting here talking with you, Susie, because all the calls and the paperwork, if you looked around in my office, you probably shocked to see the stacks of paper.
Yeah.
My whole desk is like that right now. But I get goosebumps just thinking, like, to see the smiles on their faces. And they know that somebody truly cares about them, because we're here to support them. For 2.5 years, it went from 2 years to 2.5 years. The students, anybody coming through, anybody that calls this phone in my office rings, I don't care what the need is, I'll find a way to get that need met for you.
Absolutely.
That's what it's about. It's about servicing the person that needs that service right then and there. Meet them wherever they're at. I don't care what's going on. I don't give up on them. You know,
No.
I got to get them the services they need to keep them going and give them the hope, like, hey, this guy cares enough about me that I'll call him anytime I'm in a jam.
I know that the doors open at like 7 o'clock. Now doors, it's virtual, right?
Yes.
So how do they sign up? Do they go on Eventbrite, or how do people?
Yeah, it is listed on Eventbrite, and then
Okay.
so it says virtual doors open at 7. The show starts at 7:30. Tickets can be purchased through Eventbrite. $10 for the students, $25 for teachers and adults, or $50 per household. For more information, email info@onelifeatatime.org, and you can get information off of our Facebook page, and our One Life at a Time page is onelifeatatime.org. We have a new website up as well.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, there's a lot going on at One Life at a Time. So very busy, but I don't think I could ever give back enough.
I think it's great. Comedians are awesome. You know?
It's just like you say, and I've learned a lot of this from you. It's like, I didn't get sober to be miserable. I got sober because, you know, life is good and I want to enjoy life and I want to have fun doing this stuff.
I always tell people I wasn't a nun before. I wasn't born before. You know what I mean? I got to still have fun. So the difference is you get to find people in recovery that are fun too, you know? And then it's like, whoa, we can still do this.
Right.
And the difference is we can do this and not get in trouble. You know what I mean? It's like, that's a double blessing my way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, Michael, it's so great seeing you. This is awesome. And like I said, we had Leslie on before talking about so many services that you offer from the career side of it. Now to see how you're getting involved from the IOP, the medical side of it, above and beyond the career resources is just, it's really, you guys are turning into this, you know, huge one-stop shop on the South Shore.
Thank you so much. I mean, it takes the team. I mean, I'm not obviously here doing this alone, but the team we have, I'm so grateful. I call Leslie and Chris like the hidden angels in the world.
Yeah, you all are.
So
you're great. And on that note, it's a wrap. So I want to thank everybody for watching this month's edition of Recovery Recreation. I'm your host, Susie Lordy. Don't think you can't have fun sober. You just haven't hung out with us yet. So until next time, peace out.